Midlife Crisis Podcast. Here we go, Midlife Crisis Podcast, episode number 2 coming at you. Today I will be, it's your man Fitz. I'm kicking it solo today, but we're going to be covering the actual stories of midlife crisis. So let me know what you think. Email will be in the description, and we're going to talk about some midlife crisis. Here we go. So David can't be with us tonight because he's gone through a lot of shit lately. So he won't be with us, but he'll be with us next time. So if you didn't get a chance to check out the first, episode of the Midlife Crisis Podcast, it was on YouTube. Just go to Midlife Crisis Podcast and go to our live section. You can check it out there. Today we're going to be talking about actual midlife crisis that was sent to me by someone through our email, through our YouTube, and just wanted them to kind of share that story, and they agreed. It was a very tough time in this person's life. They were about 45 years old when this happened. 45 years old, married, 3 kids. He said he spent most of his time at work. And then when he'd get home from work, he would be working at home, helping out around the house, doing shit. And he said it eventually made him lose his mind, because I don't know all the details, but he said he had no free time to himself. Okay, now when you hear midlife crisis, most people, assume it's a man, because it usually is a man. But women also have midlife crises too. So, but on top of that, here is his story. Okay, so I'm going to be reading this off to you. 45 years old. I was working all the time, overtime, whatever I could to do. I was married, but had been divorced once before, and I was paying child support to a child of another marriage. Okay, I get that, because I've been through that shit too. It sucks. Get it. Married. Okay. And bills were piling up, and my wife had a really bad spending habit. As fast as I could get the money in, she would spend it. We were in debt up to our ears, and she did not know how to say no to buying anything, because he'd make like 3 checks a month. 2 overtime checks a month and 1 regular check, according to him. Me, I would just get regular check and then my overtime check. But 2 overtime checks, it's pretty sick. And then it says he would have no time to himself. He'd ask to go out with his friends, and then his wife would chew his ass for wanting to go out with his friends, because he would spend no time at home. Okay, I get that too, but everybody needs a little time to de-escalate. No matter who it is in the relationship, everybody needs me time. He also states that he wasn't getting physical intimacy at home, and it had been at least 6 months since they had even touched each other. That's brutal. I think a lot of people have gone through that. I know I've gone through it myself, but so he decided that when the depression started kicking in, and when he started to feel bad about himself, he decided to change his life, because it had been 10 years since, it felt like it had been 10 years since he had done something for himself. I know he's probably exaggerating a little bit, but who isn't? He said, I decided that I was going to do something for myself, and I was going to start going to the gym every morning. I was going to change up my wardrobe, and I was going to feel fucking good about the way I look, felt, and I don't know what this says here. It's just a bunch of letters. I don't know if he typed it in wrong or what. But he says, look, felt, and okay. So let me get past that because I don't know what the hell this says. It must have been a typo or something. But it says he was going to try skin regiments, and he said if he lost a bunch of weight and he had loose skin, he was going to get the surgery. He was going to do the full works, basically. Whatever he could to look better and feel better about himself, he was going to do it. So it says about 6 months later, he'd lost about 50 pounds, and he's feeling great about himself. But one thing he noticed was the attention that he was getting. Not just from women. The attention that he was getting from everybody. Everybody was telling him how great he looked, how awesome he looked, good job. And he had never felt this kind of attention before because he was mediocre in high school. He didn't really do sports or anything. No clubs. Had a very mediocre job. But losing this weight, he felt like, you swear he won the Congressional Medal of Honor or something. So all these people are telling him, awesome, you did it, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, women are hitting on him too. So he doesn't know what to do from this point on. This is what it says. I don't know what to do from this point on. So I decided to start hanging out with new friends from work. So he starts hanging out with new friends from work. These new friends start taking him out. He starts going to bars. And he starts meeting new people. Single people. But yet he ain't single. So he meets a girl through a friend at a bar one night. And mind you, his wife does not like this situation one bit. I think she already knows what's going on. But he meets a girl, gets her number, and on his way home, he kind of feels bad about it. But he wakes up in the morning. He notices his phone is not on his nightstand next to his bed. So he gets up, goes downstairs, and his wife has his phone, and he asked, who is so-and-so? He goes, oh, a friend from work. He goes, well, these texts, or she goes, these texts don't seem that casual. He's all, no, it's just a friend from work. So he somehow slimes his way out of it, or whatever you want to call it, because you know what, honestly, I shouldn't be judging, whatever. So he talks to his wife, and he says, hey, guess what? That was going to be more than just a friend from work. Here's what's going on. I get nothing from you. All I do is work. All I do is take care of you and the family. And then on my weekends, when I'm my downtime, I'm taking care of this house and I'm taking care of you guys. And we don't ever go out. You don't show me any intimacy. And his wife basically says, it's all in your head. You're kind of a scumbag for thinking this way. This is life, and this is the way you're supposed to live it. But he doesn't agree. He's tired of it, and he wants something different. So he goes out. He meets this girl. They start hooking up. Comes home one night. Decides to tell his wife that he's leaving her. Tells her that he's leaving her, and she just seems crushed, like she doesn't know where this is coming from. He said, I told you months ago that I wasn't happy and you weren't treating me good. And she says, no, you didn't. He says, yes, I did, blah, 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 back and forth. So finally he gets that divorce and gets railroaded in court by his ex. She decides that if you're going to leave me, I get everything. Which is always the fucking case in these things. I mean, I've been through a divorce too. My ex cheated on me and then decided that it was my fault that we were getting a divorce. It's just such bullshit. But I don't know what he's telling me is true or not, but this is his story. So I'm sticking to it. So, as they're going through the divorce process, he keeps going back and forth with his lawyer. Like, okay, I want the kids. 50-50. She's like, nope, you cheated on me. You're not getting them all. He's like, well, 50-50 with the kids. 50-50 on the house. And it was just whatever she could do to screw him over because she felt like she had been betrayed so much that he didn't deserve anything. I just don't get that at all. I agree with child support for the children, but the next part I do not agree with is she wanted an additional $1,500 a month in alimony. Complete bullshit. Alimony is bullshit. She had a job. She was making close to what he made, but she still wanted this fucking alimony. Complete bullshit. So he goes to court, he fights it, and he gets no alimony. He doesn't have to pay any alimony, so whatever. But then the judge says, 2 kids, this many years, and he does it to where he only gets them 8 days a month, which, I don't understand why they would do that. If they want a 50-50, that should be reasonable, and that's what they should do. But it gets to the point to where it's so bad to where his kids won't ever come over. So he starts talking to people that he knows, people that know his ex, and he finds out that the mom is just brainwashing him hardcore, telling him, you can go to your dad's if you want, but do you really want to go over there because your dad cheated on me and he did this and that? Do you really want to do that? So it's parental alienation at this point, and the kids don't ever want to come over, and when they see their dad, it's just they just want to hang out with him maybe for a couple hours to get like a free meal or something out of the whole thing. And it's complete bullshit. That's one of the things that really annoys me with parental alienation is these kids go with whoever and they feel like they're entitled to the kids or whatever. So they start talking bad about their parents. My ex, I'm not saying I never talked bad about her, but I tried not to in front of the children at least. Our children at least. But things get so bad to where he almost thinks about taking his own life because he can't see his own children. He hasn't gotten remarried, but his ex has. But she's still taking him to court for every little thing. What the fuck is the reason why someone would do this? Keep taking you to court, keep slandering you, and keep trying to get more money out of you. Why don't you get a fucking job and do your own, take care of yourself? It's complete bullshit. So he keeps going back to court and fighting it, but his efforts are too late. I mean, he says this is his midlife crisis story just because he got in shape, started hanging out with new people, and started partying. I don't think it's a midlife crisis thing. I think it's more like he was depressed, had to get out of that situation, and try something new. Tell me what you think. like I said, you can always email, in the description and let us know what your thoughts are. But I think he was just genuinely depressed. You have a wife who won't touch you. You have kids that won't come see you after a while, and you're paying a huge amount in child support. Luckily, you're not paying alimony. But, I mean, what do you think? What are your thoughts? Because I think this whole scenario is bullshit. It blows my mind sometimes. I remember growing up, my dad had to pay child support for me and my sister, but he also had another child outside of the marriage of him and my mom, and that ex-wife was always hitting him up for money, to the point to where she took him to court where he was paying $1,000 a month, and back then that was a lot of money. And she took everything she could. The only reason he got to keep the house is because he paid it off before he met her, back when houses were like, 30, 40K and shit. I have another buddy who, ended up getting divorced, but his story is a little different. His wife, just one day he went to work and he came back and all her shit was gone. Had no idea where she was. You tried to get a hold of her, couldn't. Call her family, couldn't get a hold of her. Until one day he was coming home from work and knock on the door. Sheriff serves him divorce papers. Because the state I'm in, it's irreconcilable differences. You don't need any other reason except for that. He had no clue that anything was going wrong. Like, he loved his wife. He knew he wanted to spend the rest of his life with her, but she decided she didn't want that. She wanted to go travel the world, and that's where she was. She was out traveling. Luckily, they didn't have any kids, and luckily, they didn't have much to split, and everything else he had tied up in a prenup. But, as we know, prenups can be bullshit because judges can override them whenever they want. But, I don't know. But, in these divorces, nobody wins. Really, nobody wins, and it's such bullshit. If you want to be married to somebody, and they don't want to be married to you, let them go. Fuck it. Life's too short. Move on. I think the guy in the first scenario I think he kind of did the right thing. I think he should have tried maybe also a little counseling first. But if you're not being touched, if you're... I'm assuming that he also, talked to his wife, like, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm not doing, blah, blah. But if you're working to support everybody and no one cares about, how you feel or what your feelings are, they need to get on board. And he asked her to. He asked her, this is what I'm doing all weekend. This is what I'm doing at work. And this is how much overtime I'm working. And yet you won't show me any intimacy. And I don't know if he went to counseling or not, but whether or not he didn't, it was still wrong. Like, you can't do that. Like, you have to work together. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think about the institution of marriage, divorce, everything. If you didn't have a chance to catch the first episode, me and Dave kind of went over who we were. Me and Dave also kind of talked about, working in law enforcement and PTSD, some military stuff. I was in the military for a brief stint. And we also talk about what we want to do with that, also with this podcast moving forward, because we want to help other, veterans and first responders We'd also like to get some people on the show, so if anybody, let us know. Give us jingle jangle, hit us up on the email. But episode 2 in the books. I'm not doing episode 3 until we get David back. It should be soon. I talked to him tonight, and he is all ready to go. We're also going to be heading out so we got a couple trips coming out where we're going to be doing some podcasts abroad. Out of state first. We're also heading to the University of Oregon to do a Ducks game tailgate live podcast. And then we're heading to Colombia. And then we're heading to, believe it or not, sooner or later, we're heading to Iraq. We're going to be doing a tour in Iraq. Not a military tour, but we're going to be doing a podcast tour in Iraq to check out then and now. And what the country's like after 20 years of being ravaged by war. And then we'll see where we go from there. But let us know what you think. Maybe some other places we should go. I know we're going to be in Wisconsin, and we're going to do the Jeffrey Dahmer Cream City Cannibal tour. And we'll make sure to film that and get it to you. But for now, that's what we got planned. And then probably sometime late next year, we'll have a live show. I'm guessing it'll probably be in Eugene, Oregon. Probably after one of the football games. But we'll let you know. Hit our YouTube up, like, subscribe. Also, follow us, like, subscribe on our podcast on Spotify. Until the next one.